Hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Yvie's live stream and happy lunar eclipse and happy super full moon or full super moon, harvest moon, a beautiful bright moon in the sky, and I hope you're all doing well. So I thought I would carry on with the Frida Kahlo image I started last week, and it's the third in my month of masters series. Obviously the month of masters is in July and we're in September. Just in case you were wondering, yes, that's perfectly normal for me. So Frida Kahlo is the third one I'm working on, and the image I started last week, if you see here, if I click into it now, I had originally duplicated an original file for the first masters, and I'd sort of taken out the older pieces, which were for the Vincent van Gogh piece, and I just carried on from there. But what I realized was I'd lost all of the time-lapse functionality. So last week, when I realized that I actually really wanted this to become a time-lapse, I started a fresh piece and I copy-pasted the files from that Frida Kahlo piece into this new one so that I could get my time-lapse functionality back. So other things I did were I changed the size of the image because I want to be able to print these as a collection of maybe postcards or art prints, and so I just decided to alter the pixel dimensions, which are at the moment now 5000 by 3750. I also changed the PPI to 600. It was previously 300, and this is so that I can have the image is so much more clearer, because I do work in such a lot of detail that I wanted to be able to make sure those details don't get pixelated, I suppose. Hi Keys, thanks for joining me. I've just realised, no idea what happened there. So I've just realised that what did I just realise? My brain just stopped. Dun dun. What was I talking about? I was talking about Frida Kahlo. Oh yeah, so the other thing that I did was I made the image smaller. So if I just show you what it was like, that was the image I got to last week. And I worked on it a little bit so that I could get this time-lapse video function up and running. And this is now where we're at. So it's funny because we were talking about different styles last week and surrealism came up, and I never really thought of myself as I'm not a surrealist for sure. I do love quirky imagery and bringing meanings into images, and those meanings might be in the form of, like here I've got the butterfly on her shoulder, and now I've added some stars in the sky, and I'm not quite sure why I've done that yet. And there's perhaps a type of leaf, or I'm not quite sure what these are, branches, pointy branches, they've got a meaning of their own in that they're sharp and pointy. I know she indicated a lot to do with pain. For me, they're more like pointers this way, they're like an arrow. Anyway, so this is where I'm going to be carrying on. The other thing that came up was that starting afresh with this piece, I was able to get my own colour palette going. So this is a colour palette that's showing from one of the Frida Kahlo images, which I like. Although it did occur to me that the other images, I just show them, they also have colours in them as well that I really like. I might look at reintroducing them to get some extra colours. Okay, so just going to carry on from here. I hope everything's coming through okay, sound-wise. I've just realised I've left my window open, so if any tractors go past, we probably will hear them. Where do I want to start? I think I want to start colouring, get them some colour in. Oh, I did a nice pencil page to see what the brushes were like. So many good brush options. Let's start with this broad brush. There was a really nice background, sky. I think it was this pink one. At the bottom left. Let's have a look. Have I got those colours? I can always add them in. It's a colour page. Let's see. That's so nice. It's quite nice, moody sky. So here I'm just recording these colours. These two different Frida Kahlo images, one's, I'm not sure which one would be the original colour. One's more saturated than the other. Hey Keys, no worries. For some reason my brain's really slow with processing information. No need to stay writing on my account. Thanks for joining me anyway. I like those colours. If I got any lighter, I'm gonna make sure I get some of these nice contrasts. The really bright parts. I think I'll use some of this nice peachy one as well. And it's a bit warmer. Oh, can't quite see what I'm getting there. Okay, so I've got some colours there, but my background's going to be a little bit more whimsical. I think if I actually fill the background and start from that as a canvas. Maybe a warmer one would be nice. And then what I saw was that the left side would be evening, nighttime. and maybe the right side more daytime. This is a nice, what brush is this again? What am I using? Kyle's Paintbox Watercolour Broad Wash. It's really lovely, it's very soft. And actually I could probably use these greens to really get a nice background for this greener section. It could blend quite nicely. It's a thing about that I love about some Japanese artists is the style they have of having this lovely rich band of colour across the top and then it just sort of bleeding down. I don't know if that has a name, that style, but I do love adding it to my work. That's one part of it. There isn't a lot of blue in this, which is interesting. Although I've added more blue hues for the background, I like the warmth of the colours. Nope. Sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. I'm just trying out this little bit thicker type of colouring. I'm not sure I like it very much. It's a bit too splodgy. Let's try a different brush. What about the mushy brush? What does that do? Ooh, that's quite nice. So if I lighten these, that seems to be giving it a little bit of a. Can see if I can get that. Overwashes and overpaint. Ah, right, yeah. Overwash. So I suppose they added it afterwards. Or maybe did they start with it to set the tone? I don't like what I've done here. I'm going to have to go back. Might just go backwards with the watercolour brush and just wash out. Well, that worked quite well. Let's start again. So I need this, I'd like this colour on this left side to be a little more deep, I think. In which case this top needs to be probably somewhat darker. To begin with. And maybe I can it's all experimenting. Okay, this muddy colour on the left. I'd like some richer colours, so I think I'll change my brush again to something, maybe the Cezanne. Oh my goodness, my dog. Do you know what? I don't even know what paints Frida used. I wonder if she used oils. I imagine it was oils. I think I've gone past the one I want. Is it this one? Or the other one? I guess that one. I wonder if I put too much effort into the background. Oh, hey Uma, thank you for joining. How you doing? I'm just trying to figure out how to do an interesting background. Sky. I think I need some more purples. I did say I like the warmth of it. I wonder if you can get a warm purple. Is that possible? other side probably would benefit from this lighter. Let's try a bit more blue. Like violet. Yeah, violet for me sounds like a very dubious colour. I can never quite figure out what colour violet is. But I think, yeah, I know what you mean. I might well be trying to put too much into this. Nighttime, stars, clouds, rain, sunset type as well. It's like I'm trying to get too many sky options in rather than sticking to just the one. I add the clouds and I wonder what difference that will make. What should I do the clouds with? Wet charcoal. Violet is a more colder bluish magenta, but slightly. See, in my head I've got more pink. On the pinker end. Isn't pink just a lighter red? Yeah, I agree. I think if you look at the pink that's on my screen, where my name yviejohnson.co.uk is, for me that's a pink, but it's more of a mauve pink coming from a purple end of the scale rather than the red end of the scale. Does that make sense? Oh, you know what? I never remember when it comes to clouds whether the light should be below or above. I suppose if the sun's off to the side, I could have my shadows. Like that, I suppose. So I was trying out that smudge tool. Not sure. I suppose it is helpful if I start to make a bit of an error with all of the brushes and it becomes a bit too lumpy. The smudge tool is really useful to sort of even it out, but let's have another try. Oh, that's don't know. Maybe these should be wispier clouds as well. Sorry, I'm not talking much. I went out to see the full moon last night. I think I sort of overdid it, trying to use binoculars and take photos of the moon. We went out to just outside of the town, up into the moors, because it's higher ground, so it's like a dark sky area. Beautiful how the moon was able to really light up the hills in the distance. Very, very nice to see. And then I was trying to use an app that would tell me which stars I could see, because there was definitely a bright star next to the moon, and according to my app could be Saturn, because I know that Saturn was to the right of the moon and Neptune was to the left, but I'm just not sure if they were actually visible or if it was actually a star to the right of the moon that I could see. My app didn't quite have the accuracy I was hoping for, but it was pretty cool to be able to see where the planets were. Oh, was it Saturn? Definitely. Oh, it's amazing. Because in all the pictures I took, then it was Saturn that was always there, sort of like this little white speck next to the moon. You saw it from the bathroom window, Yvie. I don't think it matters where we see it from. I imagine that it was so bright and so large that anybody would have probably been able to get a decent sort of bright photo, but being able to get a photograph in a really dark landscape was lovely. We sat in the car just so I could sort of use the car window ledge to lean on to take a photo, and I was sort of sticking my head out upside down to look at the sky above me. It was fun. It's not something I get to do very often. And then as we came back into town, the castle was lit up as well, and the moon was behind the castle, depending on which sort of angle you're coming from. And so I got some more photographs of it behind the castle, and looked very amazing. Just like, imagine what this would have looked like. The castle's like 800 years old, so what the landscape would have looked like with the moon, you know, even 600 years ago, 500 years ago, when all the town was just like inside the castle grounds, and there would have just been rolling hills, none of the bright lights of street lights anyway. It was amazing how clear it was, wasn't it? It's just like, I didn't need the binoculars to see the craters. And then as soon as you use the binoculars, it's like someone flashing a torch in your face. So yeah, and I enjoyed that, but it left me a little wiped out today. It's probably why my brain's just a little bit foggy. Now I think in the original she has like a brown robe on. I wanted to give the detail more of a colourful floral look, so I might actually make her robe red, so that the green of the leaves are what's the word? Highlighted. Keith says, up here the moon was close to the horizon, still a beautiful sight. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Yeah, how high it would get would depend on what latitude you're at. Yeah, it was cold. That's why I didn't get out of the car as well. It was significantly warmer in the car. Even with all my layers on, it was nippy. Did you get any photographs, Keys? I have in the past been able to sort of put the binoculars on my, so Tom is my partner, his bike stand, because the bike stand is at an angle, obviously to hold bikes, for repairing bikes. So I can put the binoculars on, rest them on that, and have my elbows sort of on a ledge bit, and sit down. And then I would sort of have my camera against the lens to try and take a photograph, and I've done that only the once, I think it was last year. And I keep saying to Tom, can we just get a telescope so that I'd have a proper stand? And so I wouldn't have to try and hold everything in it, you know. And as you say, it's probably why your hands hurt now. Spent the weekend cleaning jars and vegetables for pickling. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same, Keys. The fallout from just handling objects, the fallout is now on my brain, unfortunately. I put a couple of pictures on my Instagram story of one of the above the castle and one of me with Tom took a photograph of me pointing at the moon. I thought they were quite cool. Now I want to just add a deeper dark against the background of the leaves before I do the leaf layer. I'm always sort of like thinking I could just do all this in one layer rather than faff about with different layers, but I'm thinking that I might change the background. To try and get some sort of effect at some point, so I'd need the leaves on a different layer. Alright, okay, so what do I want? Brush. I think if I stick with the Cezanne brush, I love the fact that it's a little bit rough, but if you turn down the opacity, it helps blend colours really nicely. Oh, no photos. No worries. Zuma said you could just, I suppose the memory of seeing the craters will, you know, as it was so big. Your eyes do a better job than a photo does. Right, let's give this some rough texture. I don't know if you can see, I actually started to do the repeated outlines of the leaves in the background, like some sort of psychedelic layering, which is what I had in mind. I'm not quite sure how to pull that off, but the idea was to just make it pop with colour. Right. And obviously she'll have a lovely silvery moon earring as well, because she is a Cancerian, so the moon is her ruling planet, just like mine. Her birthday's just before mine, actually. Hey, no worries, Keys. That's Ryan's, is it? Say hi to Ryan for me. Okay, so that's my background to begin with. Then my clouds. So I think that's my cloud layer. If I just stick them together. I can make all of that one. So what have I got here? My sun and stars, my extra funky layer, there the leaf background. Right, I'm going to turn all of those off, and this banner, and I'm going to now give her some colour. So red, start with broad wash brush again. I think from one of the images she's got quite a warm skin tint as well. Might just be able to do a top and tail of darkened colours. To sort of frame it. Okay. Just keep layering. I think I'll quickly actually remove just this edging. Now, a brush to, do I want to use the, I like this coloured pencil because it's like a very nice soft brush. I would normally use it a lot lower. It's a nice soft pencil brush. I've got another outline to do of the actual image, but I think I'd like to start getting the colouring in, and then that might help me decide outlines. So I know that I want this collar to be quite pale. So this is where I just do colouring in like it's a colouring in look. Gives it, I think it's a nice texture. My poor dog, I can hear her outside the room wanting to come in, but she's barred because as soon as she hears any other dog outside, she becomes extremely territorial. Excuse me while I just have some of my drink. So I was thinking of making these a nice bright colour with a colourful pattern, and I've started off with this leaf decor and then a little bud, but I might actually add a couple more things to it further down the line. It's funny how each of these 3 pieces that I've done so far, well, I've finished 2. I finished the Vincent van Gogh version and Elizabeth Shippen Green version, and how different they really are in terms of, well, how I made them. Which brushes I used. The Vincent van Gogh one was very difficult for me because there was hardly anything in the actual image itself. It was a portrait of a lady sat on a chair holding a flower and nothing in the background, and that's very peculiar for me. The Elizabeth Shippen Green one is very detailed, foreground, multiple midgrounds, really detailed tree, and this one is almost like halfway between the two, because obviously it's more of a portrait and it's a close-up portrait, but I'm trying to create extra detail, as is my preference. If you're wondering why I'm not using a larger brush, it's because I actually do love how pencil has its own sort of style, and it's something that you build onto. I find that whole process very cathartic, is building onto the layers of pencil. And whilst I'm doing this piece here, if I just sort of zoom out to show you, my mind's already thinking about it's the equinox on, is it Sunday, 22nd? Which means we're already basically into Halloween season, which means folklore season. So there's Folktale Week that happens in November, there's Inktober that happens in October, and I like to look for the more folky prompts. And even though every year I promise myself I'll not go hard at it, and wipe myself out. I really, really, really would love to be able to just build up a wonderful collection of illustrations that are very folky. You know, a lot of folk tales are quite creepy, and obviously this is the season where creepiness is just creepy, as in you know, witchy, ghosts, spirits, all that stuff. Sort of the veil starts to thin, and we accept all these stories. We delight in all these stories. And I'd love to be able to just create more of those type. Okay, I've got a collar and layers under the collar. I think some of it is going to be this cloak, and I've given her a beaded necklace instead of a crown, a thorny necklace. I think these beads are going to be greeny. Maybe green and wood. I'm not quite sure what I've got in mind, but maybe some green and wood and the occasional splash of maybe yellow, pink. Okay. I wonder, I think she would probably wear some sort of is it cotton? Maybe. Just looking where these lines are. I think this is the start of some sort of shirt fold. And yeah, I guess the robe, I say robe, cloak maybe. This is the cloak. as you can see, I'm actually doing all of these on one layer. That's because I'm quite happy to put all the clothing on one layer and then add clipped layers to it. For different maybe detail or shadow highlights. I think I might just turn that layer down a bit. I've sort of told myself that if I'm doing it in this way, where I'm adding colour with a pencil, digital pencil, rather than just adding a shape that's filled with colour, then I'm working more in the traditional style, and it makes me feel a little bit better about working it with digital pencils. Because I sort of don't like the idea of anyone thinking that I'm just, this is my ego talking. I don't like the idea of anyone thinking that I can't actually do art because I'm using digital tools. I'm using digital tools because of my disability, and this is just the only way I can really realistically create anything fairly consistently. Whilst being in bed. I guess that background doesn't really help me see where I'm actually colouring. So let's turn that down. These will be some nice folds to create. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting all the flowers done in the hair and doing a hairstyle that's nice and flowy. And I know it's like the actual image has it in quite a tight sort of fixture, but undoubtedly I have to have flowing hair elements coming off it. That's just the fun part of drawing hair. So I've got about 10 or 15 minutes to go. I'm just going to keep working on this cloak, but before I finish I will share, as I did last week, the time lapse of one of my finished pieces, which I called Disability Pride Garden, and it was a piece that I started on here. I started it in 2021, but I'd actually restarted it again back in July, as July is Disability Pride Month, and I just wanted to show you how that had worked out, and I managed to add the time-lapse footage to this OBS program. So before I finish, I will share that. Sort of anticipating the shoulder curve. Not sure how much curve needs to be actually. Okay, oh, just missed a part there. I think I've got the majority of that in. It's obviously not a clothes sort of colour because it's about building texture. Let's bring that one back up. Might leave the skin for now, and just if I do hair, so hair's quite dark brown. Just going further into the hair, into the floral area, because there'll obviously be sections of floral bits where the background will want to come through, and that's obviously darker hair bits. I do love that she's got her hair really pulled back, stretched back. Trying to keep the hairline visible gives that impression, but if I hide it with the what's it called, flowers, you don't get that impression of the hair being really taut. So I've got to remember to leave space for the hairline to show that the hair is actually taut. And I wanted this hairstyle to look like plaits, which I think is probably what it is, but I wanted them to look like plaits, being wrapped around a head. Although mine look a little bit lumpy at the moment. I'm sure I'll be able to smooth them out. I suppose I need to get the hair direction right as it comes in and out of the weave. Okay. And I have to think about that. if you've noticed, I've added a couple of star pins in there. I think this is my own personality coming through. Stars and planets and all things astronomical, astrological. I suppose this could help me figure out head shape as well. Where the actual crown should be sitting. Okay. That has helped me figure out being able to see what an actual hairdo would probably look like. I wonder if it just comes a bit further over. It's very regal. So I'm looking at that going on top of skin, and then the flower crown going above that. So above skin, I just want to do this silver moon earring, and then I think I'm happy to call it a day. And obviously I'll just show you the time-lapse footage that is from a previous illustration. I wonder if I take this a bit further and have a look at what the moon was actually in at the time that Frida was born. Was it a full moon, a new moon? I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okie doke. So let's add my background and additional stuff back in, and that's where we've got to. I'm just going to take a screenshot. It's nice to see some colour on this. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to switch off my microphone and I'm just going to move to the time-lapse video. Okay, bear with me. So there we go, that was the Digital Pride Garden it's what I've named as the Digital Pride Garden illustration, and the original, I'll be posting this to Instagram at some point with Cara. I'd like to use Cara as well, and it will show the original illustration that it was based on, which was a Draw This in Your Style challenge back in 2021. And I, at the time, was having to get used to having a wheelchair, and I decided that I needed to incorporate a wheelchair into my artwork, which I haven't done enough of. And that was the time lapse of me coming back to it. That's why the beginning of the image is actually like a already presented. I didn't have the original illustration time lapse from 3 years ago. So this is what it's come out as. Some elements I've added in for myself, 80 being the year that I was born. Obviously butterflies that are bright and sparkly, and stars. Which are like something, an addition to nearly all of my artwork now. And a wheelchair cover with an image on it, which doesn't happen often enough. So there we go. Okie doke. I'll say cheerio and thank you for being here with me, and hope you have a great rest of your week. Obviously check out other streamers that are also on Behance. We've got Eva on Saturdays and Sundays, Alessandra, I just sneezed, sorry, I had to quickly mute. Alessandra, I believe is Fridays. Times are escaping me, but I think Alessandra's 7 PM UTC, and Uma is 2 PM on a Saturday and 4 PM on a Sunday, and they would be UTC. I think Sean's not back till next week. And off the top of my head, they're the only ones I can think of. Anyway, until then, thanks for being with me, and I will catch you again next week. Bye!